In this video, I'll be going over 5 of June's most useful frame traps. First, we'll start out with my favorite, which is Sidestep 4. Which means we can frame trap our opponent with a few options. The first one I like to use is Sidestep 4 Throw. This will get them in the habit of trying to duck after blocking a Sidestep 4. This will allow us to then use other moves like down forward 2 and 1+2. But we don't really get there until our opponent starts to mash or starts to make reads. Let's say you have a really hard read on your opponent and they always mash after Sidestep 4. Well, now we can use down forward 2 and it will clash with a jab and we get to combo them from there. So Sidestep 4 is very versatile for this reason. I would highly recommend just starting with a Sidestep 4 into throw and then switching up if you need to. Some other cool things to note about Sidestep 4 is that we can chain these together. Alright, we can do a Sidestep 4 and do a delayed Sidestep and chain it together like that. So it doesn't look like much with Jin doing a jab, but with an attack that's slightly slower, we get the full heat engager. It's also really good to use after a jab, because then we can evade the move that's coming and either get the heat engager, or it gets blocked and we can go straight into our throw. The biggest takeaway to Sidestep 4 is to either use a mid check like down forward 1 to keep yourself safe from any punishable situations. Because if you immediately come out the gate with something like Sidestep 4 1+2, then you could leave yourself at -12 if it gets blocked. So stick to your throws and stick to down forward 1, and then once you have a harder read, you can start using things like Sidestep 4 down forward 2. It's also really good in Oki situations since our opponent has to guess again. The next frame trap is forward 4. Forward 4 puts us at +3, which again we can use uninterrupted, but we can also use moves like jab and back 2-1. This is good because if back 2-1 lands, we can hold back and go into Miare stance, or we can hold forward and go into Genjutsu at +11. Both of these situations being extremely advantageous for us. The other benefit to forward 4 is that it's homing, so if your opponent tries to sidestep, you can catch them with this and then represent your frame trap. What's also really cool is that if forward 4 hits on normal hit, you can just use 1+2 as a mini combo. So you can imagine going for this frame trap at the wall and it just hitting anyway, and then you can actually get to combo them for this. So there's 72 damage right there. So it really is a win-win on hit and on block. So I'd highly recommend putting this into your game plan if it's not there already. The next frame trap is going to be forward 1+2, Miare 1+2. So in order to do this frame trap, you're going to do forward 1+2 and then hold back. I will put June into Miare stance, and then you can press 1+2 from here. And then it puts you at +11 on hit. You can do something like this. Miare 1+2 into a throw. Or you could do Miare 1+2 into Izumo 4-1. What I think is very underrated is that we can also hold forward and press Gen 1. This will beat jabs and down forward 1, which we can then follow up with down 1+2. If you can represent this option as an Oki setup, you're going to be in a good position to mix up even after your combo is over. In a perfect scenario, we're going to use Miare 1+2, knock them down, and do it all over again. Up until the point where they start ducking it, and then we can resort to using moves like Izumo 3. The last frame trap we'll go over is Gen 4. Let's say we do a combo route that ends with Gen 3 too. Altogether, it'll look like this, and then we can use Gen 4 to Oki them immediately afterwards. Notice how we were +4 there, and we could use throw uninterrupted. What's also really cool about this route is that if they try to use a wake up kick here, they also lose this interaction. And then they get Oki'd again. The next frame trap is going to be forward 3 1+2. So this frame trap has a few points of a frame trap. So the first is the string itself. Forward 3 1+2 can be used as a frame trap if your opponent is mashing, which means we can then use Izumo 3 to mini combo. So altogether, it'll look like this. The second part of this frame trap is if they block Izumo 3 1+2. That also leaves us at +4, and then we can frame trap them with 1-1 or throw. These are going to be extremely consistent against people who want to mash through your pressure. So always keep that in mind if someone is not allowing you to use your other Izumo options. This also goes for Izumo forward 1+2. Even without the mini combo from forward 1+2, you can see that we're getting a lot of health back just from this one sequence. And then if we did get the counter hit, you'll see that we'll gain a ton of health back from this. If your opponent attempts to read this forward 3-1+2 by crouching, you can always use forward 3-4, with an even higher benefit at the wall since we get the wall splat. That's all I have for you guys today. If you're struggling with climbing up the ranks, click the link in the description below. And as always, have a great day, guys.